Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn the fundamentals of C programming, including variables, operators, input-output, and problem solving with some coding examples. So what is C? C is a general purpose programming language developed by Dennis Ritchie. It is used for system programming, applications, and embedded systems. Why it is used till now means it is faster, efficient, and it is more flexible language. So what is a program? A program is a set of instructions which we give to a computer to perform some task. The programs are very useful because we can do some repetitive tasks automatically, as well as we can solve the complex problems in a faster manner. So only we are using the programs. Now let us see a simple C program. Every C program have a basic structure. We should follow the structure of the C program to write the programs. So here we are having a structure, a simple structure, the basic structure which every program should have. The basic structure has the first line as a header file including section. This is called as a pre-process section, where we will include the header files which has predefined functions, which the predefined functions or the having tasks that we will perform repetitively. So if we want that those functions in our program, we can include that using the, we can reuse that by defining it include the, by defining it in the hash include line. The next is an int main. So this int main is the beginning entry point of your C program. Now let us see this with an example. So this is an example for a simple C program. So here see how to write a simple program. I will write and show it to you. The first, the very first thing or mandatory thing we should have in a C program is a main function. So what is a main function means? What is a function means? It is a block of code which has sequence of instructions that will do some predefined tasks. Okay, so how to define that function? Why we need the main function means because the operating system does not know which from where it has to begin the execution. So in every C program we will have a main function, so which is the entry point of the program. So now we will try that one. So how to define a main function means, first you have to write the return type. So here we are going to give the return type as integer, so which is a type of data type. We will return some integer type of value, and within that you will be having one statement with the return statement which is return 0. What is the meaning of return 0 here means the program is successfully completed. We are intimating the operating system that the program is successfully completed execution. So now we will execute this. So I'm clicking the run button. See, the program gets executed and we can see the output here. So since we didn't perform any tasks inside the program, just we have defined the main function, we didn't include what the statements inside the main function, we are not getting any output, just a cursor is coming as an output. Okay, so now this is the first program. Here we are going to print just a hello world message, so that the output you will get the as a hello world message. So what is this printf statement means? It is the statement which is used to show output to the, or to print the output to the output to the console. Okay, so now let us see how to print the output to the console, how you will get the output. See, now I'm going to define a function called printf. So printf, in this printf we can print any message. So whatever message you want to show as it is, we have to define it inside the double quotes. And here we are using the printf function. What is this printf function? To display the output, we are using the printf function. So what is the working of that printf function? That is defined already by the C language. Here we are just using the printf function. So whenever we are using a predefined function, we should mention where this printf function is available. So where the operating system has to take the code of the printf function, that we have to define it here. So how to define means, you have to use the statement called hash include stdio.h. So this is a header file which has, or you can consider this is a folder which comes along with your C packages, which has a code for function called as printf. So the printf here the printf is a just a function call where we will pass the whatever message we want to show it as an output. That output will be printed with the help of the printf function, which is defined inside the hash include stdio.h file. So now let us debug and run the program. So here I am compiling it and run the program. So we are getting the output as welcome. So whatever message you are giving it inside the printf function, that will be exactly displayed as an output. In the previous slide, we have discussed about how to write a very simple C program. Okay, what is the basic structure of a C program we have seen. Now we will discuss about how to write a C program to add two numbers. Basically in mathematics, if we want to add two numbers, what we will do? First we will ask what are the two numbers. Then we will add like keeping one number in mind and another number in fingers, and we will count it to add the two numbers. Am I right? So like that, how we are keeping the number in our memory, computer will also have to store the data in its memory. Then only it can able to add the two numbers. Okay, so that is a in computers also, for each data whatever we are going to use in our program, a memory will be allocated. For each memory location allocated for storing each data, a separate memory address will be there. Like here I have mentioned, you imagine like this. So for each data, there will be a memory address. But the problem here is that this memory address will be also in zeros and ones, which could not be remembered by us. So that here in C language, what they are doing here is that for each memory address, a separate a variable will be used, or we will give the name for the memory address. Okay, so first step is that to add two numbers, we need to allocate two memory locations. So to allocate two memory locations, how we will write instruction means here we need to declare the variables first. So how many amount of data you are using in your program, for that much of variables you have to define it. The next step is that first we need to allocate the memory. Now we are getting an empty space in the memory, and in that empty space we need to fill the data. So how can we can fill the data? Either you itself assign the value in the program itself, or you have to read the data from the user. Okay, so if you want to add two numbers, you itself you can take any two numbers and you can add. Suppose if you don't want like that, means you can ask your friends to give the two numbers and you can add and tell them. Am I right? Similarly in computers also, or the programs also, we can initialize a value in the program itself, or we can ask the user to enter the value and then we can add it. So that is the second step. And the third step is that we need to perform the intended operation. If we want to perform the intended operation, we need to know about how to write the expressions. There are several operators we will use in the programming language to write the expressions. We need to use the symbols which is offered by the C programming language package. That symbols only we have to use to write the mathematical operations, not as like a descriptive statement or what we have used in max, that we cannot use it here. We have to follow the procedures or the methods which was or the symbols which was provided in the C programming language. The next step is that we got the result. So that result also gets stored in our memory, right? So the added number should be stored in some place, so that in future if the computer want to reuse it, or if it want to show the result to the user, it has to store it at a some place. So that is the, so for storing the result we need another memory location. So for that also we will name the memory location. So for that also we have to declare the variable. So final is that we need to show the result to the user. If we want to show the result, what is the added result to the user, then we will use a statement called as printf. So printf will display the result calculated by the computer to the user. As we discussed in the previous slide, the first step to add two numbers is to allocate memory for the data. So to allocate the memory for the data, we need to declare the variables. So how to declare the variables? So the variable declaration has two portions. One is data type, okay. Another one is name for the memory location. Okay, this we will say it as a variable name. So first thing is that data type. What is data type? So data type defines the type of data, okay, the memory can store and how much amount of memory it will occupy. So this is defined by the data type. Usually in the real world we have different types of data. So we have integer. So integer means they are called as whole numbers, or the integers means it includes both the negative and positive numbers. For example, -1, or for example, +10. So these are integer type of values, and we are having float type of values in the real world. For example, 10.5. So this is a float type of value. And third one is double. So double means it is also a float type of value, but with decimal places more than 5. We will use for scientific calculations, okay, where the precision is very much important. We cannot able to round off. So there and all we need a, we will have a larger decimal digits, so that in that at that time we will use a double type of data type. And the next one is character. So we will be having the characters. We will use the characters to indicate some information. For example, if you take gender, we will mention either M for male or F for female, okay. So like grades, if you take, you will mention A grade, B grade, like that we will mention, no. So these are the different types of data which we will use in the real world. So to indicate the type of data, here we are having different type of data, right? So indicate the type of data we are going to store and how much amount of memory for this we have to allocate. Why we are concerning more about memory here means, since we know that we are in laptops or wherever we are using, we are having only limited amount of memory, so we cannot lethargically use all the complete memory for a single data. So for this data, if this much is enough means, so we explicitly giving that this much amount of data memory alone I want. So that is the use of this data type. So there are primitive types, derived types and user defined data types. So initially we will use a primitive type of data. Derived type of data means they are derived from the primitive types. They are arrays, functions and pointers. And user defined type of data type means these are the data types which are given in the C language itself. These are the data types which are derived from the primitive types, and these data types are of user's choice. User itself can create their own data type based upon the application or the scenario whatever they want, okay. Mm. As we discussed in the previous slide, if we want to declare a variable, we need to define two things. One is data type, another one is what? Variable name. So we know what is a data type. We can use any of the data type as we discussed above here, and the variable name is a name which we are giving for the memory location. So a variable means it is a named memory location because we are naming the memory location. So that memory location is used for storing the data, okay. So this you can see as like a container. See here it looks like a memory is like a container which can hold what? Which can hold values of any type. So whatever data type you are choosing, this container will act accordingly. So it can store float type of value if the data type is float, or this container can hold a string type of value if this is a string, or it can hold a integer type of value if this is considered as integer. Okay. So far we have created the container. Now we are going to moving to the next step, second step, which is to put the value in the container. The value we can put in the container either by initialization method, that is defining the value directly, or we can use scanf, like we can get the input from the user. Okay, so how to define the value directly or how to declare a variable? The first thing is data type. Suppose if I want to add two whole numbers, means for example let us take one number as 5 and another number as 6, means here I am going to store two whole number type of values. So if we want to store whole number type of values, how can we declare a variable? So the variable, in the variable declaration, we have two parts. The first part is data type. So what is the data type? Here we have to choose, since it is a whole number, I am choosing a data type as integer. Okay, and the variable name we can choose any one. This is our choice, but there are some rules we have to follow to declare the variable. Those rules are called as identifier rules. The identifier rules are already there, so just to go through once. So how to declare a variable name means, so just I am going to give a name. So there are two numbers, I am naming it as number 1. Okay, so now what is the meaning of this means, just a box with empty thing is created. If you want to add the values, how we can add the value means, see the symbol you have to use is this equal to symbol followed by the number we want to put there. So here now I am changing the statement as num1 equal to 5, which means that 5 is stored in the variable num1. Similarly, I want to store another number called num2. So I am declaring the another variable int num2 equal to, here the value I want to store is 6. So I have initialized the value as 6. So another box, okay, with value as 6 is stored, and the name of the box is num2. Okay, so this is how we can initialize a value. Suppose if you are initializing a character type of value, means make a note that we need to initialize the character values within a single quotes, and if you want to initialize a float type of value, means it should follow by a symbol called as f, because by default in C the default data type is double, not float. So if you want to explicitly mention that this is a float type of value, means you can mention f symbol here. Okay, then suppose if you want to store group of characters, means there is no type of separate data type here. We need to use the character with array. So this concept we will study later. So as of now you just know how to initialize the values. So as we discussed in the previous slide, for each initialized values, this much amount of memory will be declared. Okay, so for character it is not 2 byte, it is only 1 byte of memory will be allocated. Okay, so which means that a single character, if we convert and store it as zeros and ones, okay, only 1 byte of memory is allocated. What is this 1 byte? 1 byte means it will take 8 bits of data. We can store what? 8 bits of values. 1 byte is equal to what? 8 bits. So this A, for example, if in the C language itself, for each character a separate value is assigned, a standard value will be assigned, that is called as an ASCII value. So that ASCII value will be converted as zeros and ones, and it is stored, because we cannot store character A as it is in the memory. This character A will be converted as zeros and ones based on the predefined numerical value assigned for it, and then while retrieval it will be again converted from numerical to a character. This is how the character value will be stored. And to store an integer type of values, basically we need 4 bytes of memory, which is 32-bit approximately. But if we want to store phone number type of values, this integer is not enough. So we will move for a variation of int, which is called as long int. Okay, so long int can hold a mobile number type of values. For this long int, 8 byte of memory will be used. 8 byte means totally 64 bit. So a phone number type of value can be stored using the long int. Whereas see the group of characters, that is string. If we want to store a group of values, means here how many characters are there? 5 characters. Along with that, one extra space will be allocated to store a null value, which indicates the end of the string. That concept we will study later. And the next one is that float. To store float type of values in C language, 4 bytes of memory will be used. Okay, if it is a double type of value, means 8 bytes of memory will be allocated. Okay, for double, 8 bytes of memory will be allocated. In the previous slides, we have discussed about how to allocate memory, how to store a value by initialization method. Now we are going to study about how to store a value from using scanf. That is, scanf means read the value from the user while the program is running and put it in the memory. For that only we are using the scanf. Whereas printf is also there. So printf is used to not to store the value, to retrieve the value from the stored place and show it to the user. That is the use of these two functions. So these functions are commonly called as formatted IOs. So for input we are using scanf. For producing the output we are using the printf. So the printf function have a syntax. So as I said earlier, printf is a predefined function which is provided in the library stdio.h. If we want to use that function, we are having a syntax. We have to follow that method to call the or use the function. Okay. So the printf has how we have to define a printf function means all the letters must be in smaller case. Within the bracket we have to mention the control string, then comma, what is the value we want to show it to the user. That location name we have to specify. Location name means which is here is obviously called as a variable name, we have to pass here. What is the use of this control string? So usually we will store the values in the format of zeros and ones. Here we will use different control strings for different type of data. What is the meaning it will give to the computer or operating system means it has to read the value, convert it into the particular type and show it to the user, because zeros and ones could not be understood by the human. It has to be in a form which is understood by the human. So for converting that purpose, we are using the control string here. So the control string, how it will look like means it will be with the symbol called as percentage. The remaining things we will learn one by one later. Then we have to mention the type specifier. So these are optional only. The things which here listed are optional. Okay. So what here we have to mention means percentage is very much important. Followed by that we have to mention the type specifier. So what is the type specifier? Here we can mention if we want to convert the zeros and ones into an integer means here we have to use the type conversion as D, or you can use type conversion as I. Okay. And the next one is that suppose if we want to convert the value stored zeros and ones into a character means you have to use a symbol called as percentage %C. If it is a floating means percentage %F, or if it is a double means percentage %L we have to use. So this is how we have to use the different format specifiers for the type of data which we have to convert and show it to the user. See, for integers itself, we are having different types of conversions based on the different purpose. So if we want to show the number as an integer means you can use percentage %d or percentage %i. If you want to show the numbers as only positive value mean you can go for percentage %u, and if you want to show the numbers in octal base means you can use percentage %o. If you want to show the number in hexadecimal base means percentage %x, or if you want to show the hexadecimal numbers as bigger characters means you can go for capital percentage %x. Okay, so where these will be used means if you want to show the address to the user where your data is stored, at that time we will go for this. And basically in all the programs we will use percentage %d only. Next, if you want to represent a floating point specifiers, we can use percentage %f. If you want to represent the same number in scientific notation like this, we can go for this percentage %e. If you want to show with the capital E means, you can go for this percentage %e scientific notation itself. In the uppercase it will display. And if you want to make the compiler or the runtime environment to choose the type of displaying your data by itself means we can use the percentage %d, and capital if you want to say use display the value as in capital case means you can go for percentage %d. Then character and string specifiers, if you want to display a character you have to use a percentage %c like this. If you want to display a string means you have to use a percentage %s here, and if you want to display the address you can use percentage %p, or if you want to additionally show a percentage symbol means here you can put a additional percentage like this. If you want to display like 100% complete, if you want to show means you can use like this. Okay. The next one is length modifiers. As I said earlier, if you want to show a display account number or if you want to display a mobile number, we need long int. So at that time to mention it is not ordinary int, it is a long int, you can go for this double L symbol here, which indicates it is a long int type of value. So it can able to display this much amount of the bigger digit numbers. Okay. If you want only a smaller digit number means you have to use HD. If you want a number averagely within 16 bits means you can 16 or 32 bits means you can use a LD or D, which is more than enough. Or if you want to go for float with long values means you can mention L here, that is long double it is. Okay. Next is scanf. So scanf is used to store the values in a memory location. So which is used to get the value from the user. Since we are reading and storing it in memory, we need to put a symbol called as ampersand symbol, which indicates the read the value from the user and put it in the memory location which is indicated with the variable A. So here ampersand intimates that the memory location you have to store. Okay, so the syntax for defining scanf is that it also takes two values as an argument. So this scanf is also a function call. The entire function is defined inside the header file stdio.h. That function needs two input, okay, to perform the task. One is the control string, it needs to know the type of value which we are going to store in the memory location, and another one is the in the which memory location we have to store, that information also we have to pass. So to indicate the type of information which we are going to store, we are using the control string, and to note to mention about how, the memory location, to identify the memory location, we are giving the argument list here. So for example, see here, if I want to store two integer type of read and store two integer type of values means here I will mention like this. Okay, so percentage d comma address of b, a comma address of b. Okay. So far we have completed the two steps, and third step we are moving on is that how can we, now we are having the data, how can we write or do some mathematical operation on that data. So to write to mention or to specify any kind of mathematical operation, we need to know how to write expression. So in maths, we will say that it is a mathematical operation. Here we will say like mathematical expression. So to write the mathematical expression, each expression will have operator and an operand. So we need to follow the predefined operators and we need to use the operands properly to write the expression. So there are different types of operators in C. We are having major category as unary operators, binary operators and ternary operators. So the operators means they are just the symbols that tells the compiler to do a specific operation, and the operands or the value or variable involved in that operation. So this will act upon these operands to give some results. Okay, so we are going to see about what are the different types of operators come under these categories. And the unary operator, we had having two types, so increment and decrement example. And binary operators, here we as an example I have given some of the operators. And ternary operators are this is the one operator here we are having, which is called as an conditional operator. So these are the list of operators which are offered by C language. So one is arithmetic operator, relational operator, equality operator, logical operator, unary operator, conditional operator, bitwise operator, assignment operator, and then miscellaneous operators. So first we will see about arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are used to perform basic mathematical operations on the variables and the values which we have read earlier. Some of the basic arithmetic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We know the meaning of all these operations, and the last one is the modulo. So this is an operator. In division, we will be getting two results. So one is remainder, another one is quotient. Okay, if you want to get the quotient, we have to use a symbol, this slash symbol, which is called as a division symbol. This symbol is not allowed, which we will use in max, but here it is not allowed. You have to use only the slash symbol for division. So this slash symbol, what it will return means it will return the quotient. Whereas if you want to get the remainder means, here we will use a symbol called as modulo operator. This modulo operator will give the remainder. Okay, so A divided by B means this will give the quotient. It will divide the number A by B and then it will give the result as quotient. If you use modulo or percentage symbol here between these means, it will return the remainder. Okay, remainder value as your result. The next one is relational operator. Relational operator, which is also called as a comparison operator, which is used to compare any two values. So how we will compare? Either using less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So these operators are used for comparing any two results. For example, if my age is less than 18. For example, see, if the age is less than 18. Here I am comparing my age with the age called as 18 to check the eligibility for voting. Okay, so for comparing any two values, we will use the relational operator. The next one is the equality operator. This is also a kind of comparison operator. So this equality operator is used to check whether the value in the left side is equal to the value at the right side. So I am going to check whether my age is equal to 18, which means that it is equal to 18 or not. For comparing that equal operation, we have to use the two equal symbols. Okay, if you just put like this, a equal to 18, this is also equal to, this is also equal to, so this is equal to here. In C, this is called as assignment operator. This is called as what? Assignment operator, which stores the value at the right side to the location which we have mentioned in the left side. The left side cannot be a number. Okay, this left side cannot be a number. The next one is logical operators. So, which is used to combine more than one condition. Earlier things are used to specify the condition. Relation operator is used to specify a condition. If you want to combine any two conditions means, we can go with the logical operators and, or, and not, or the logical operators and is used to combine two expressions. So here if this also true, this also true means it will give the result as 1. If both the conditions are failed means these results are failed, or failed means it will return 0. If the condition is false means it will return 0. If both the conditions are failed means also it will return 0. If any one of the conditions also failed means it will return 0. If both the conditions are true, then it will return the result as true. So similarly, like this logical operator or operator, here if both the conditions or false means it will return false. If any of the one is true means it will return true. Not means it will reverse the result. If the result what we have got is 0 means it will return as 1, or if it is 1 means it will return as 0. The next one is unary operator. So unary operator, for an example, we will see it is a pre-increment operator. So plus plus a means it is a pre-increment operator. A plus plus means post-increment operator. Minus minus a means pre-decrement. A minus minus means post-decrement. Plus a means unary plus. Minus a means unary minus. This is logical not, bitwise not, and this is pointer dereference and address of operator. So what is the meaning of this increment operator means it will increment the value in that particular location by 1. So here assume that if value stored in A is 5 means, then if you give a statement like this plus plus A means what it will do means it will increase the value stored in A by 1. So already we are having the value as 1. If we add 1 here means then the result we will get is 6. So plus plus a means here output value is 6. So similarly post increment also will do. There is little difference that we will see later. And similarly decrement also, decrement means it will decrease the value by 1. So for example minus minus a if I mention means what it will do means it will take the value in a and decrease it by 1. So you will get the result as what? 4 you will get. Okay. So likewise this is unary plus. Plus means this indicates a positive number. Minus a means it indicates a negative number. If you make a as minus a means the value stored in plus a will be changed as plus 5 will be changed as minus 5. So logical and means if the value stored in a as 1 means it will turn the value as 0. So bitwise not means it will switch the bits as by 0 as 1, ones as zeros. So this star p is a pointer dereference operator which is used to store the value at the mentioned address, and address of means it will give the memory address of that particular variable. Okay. This is unary minus. Like as I said earlier, if I am assigning like this b equal to minus of a means then value stored in a 10 which is changed as minus 10 and then it is stored in b. A which will be having the positive value 10 but b will have the negative value as minus 10. So this is the increment and decrement bitwise operator which will act upon the binary numbers as zeros and ones. Assignment operator. Here we are having the different types of assignment operators. Compound assignment that is plus equal to is a shorthand representation of the expression a equal to a plus b. So we can write the expression as a plus equal to b. So here make a note that here a will be there. So we can directly write like this, a plus is equal to b, which is shorthand representation. Similarly, we can use for others too. There are other symbols we will use. So control string like percentage is at size underscore t, there is an data type which is used to store the size of the particular variable. Then typecasting operators that is mentioned, we will mention the typecasting operator within bracket, comma operator, dot operator. These are the other operators we will use in the our programs. So now let us let us see the complete program of this. So I'm deleting this one. and I'm showing you that. See, first, if you want to add two numbers, we need to declare a variable. I want to add only two whole numbers, so I am declaring the variable two numbers. So I am declaring like num1, comma num2, comma, and to store the result, I am declaring variable as sum. Okay, now we have declared a variable, which means that we have completed the step 1. In the step 1, what we have done means we have created 3 memory locations. For each memory location, we have given the name. Now empty space is allocated. Just we have to put the value inside that. So to put the value inside that, either we can directly initialize the value or we can read the value from the user. Now I am going for the first method, direct initialization. So I am initializing value of num1 as 5 and then num2 as 6, and then I am going to perform addition operation. Sum is equal to num1 plus num2. This is how you have to write the expression. So here, what is the expression I have used here? Sum is equal to num1 plus num2. This is how we will add two numbers, right? So num1 is an operand, num2 is also an operand. Between that, I used a plus symbol because plus symbol is used to add the two numbers. What this expression will how the expression will work? It will add the two numbers, and then we are asking it to store the result in the sum variable. Okay, this is how you have to write the expression. We have stored the result in sum. We have to display the value of the sum. So how can we display the result? So it is a stored value is what type of value? Integer value. So we have to mention the control string as %d because it has to take the value from the sum and it have to convert it to an integer and show it to the user like that. So where the result is stored, which is stored in sum. So this is how we have to write a program. So first memory initialization, the next one is variable value initialization. Once the data is ready, we can do the mathematical operation, and at last, after getting the result, we can show it to the user. Now we will debug and check the result. See, we have got the result as 11. But here there is a problem. What is the problem here? Here what we are saying means this program is intended only to add the two numbers, which is 5 and 6. But a program can able to solve any kind or perform addition operation on any kind of numbers. A program should not perform only addition of 5 and 6. It should be able to add any two numbers. So how we can change this thing means, so we have to read the input from the user, so that whatever number the user is giving, the program can add those two numbers and it will show the result. So now I am changing the method. So for getting the input from the user, we are going to use a statement called as scanf. The scanf also takes two arguments. The first argument is the control string. Here we have to mention. So we need to read two values. The values are whole numbers. So I am using the control string as what here? %d. If it is a float number means we have to change the control string, which will be what? %f. So according to the type of value we are going to read from the user, we need to mention the control string. Here what we are doing, we are reading the value from the user and we have to take it and put it in the corresponding memory location. So what you have to use here, address symbol you have to use, and then you have to mention like num1 comma address num2. So here these are the syntaxes. Okay, we have to follow that. Okay, now let us run this program and check. Yeah, I forgot to give it inside the double quotes. Okay, now it is asking us to enter the value, but here we are getting confusion whether we are getting the output or why it is the cursor is blinking. We are having that confusion, right? But since we have written the program, we are having an idea. We need to input the two numbers. Now I am entering first number and then I am pressing enter key. Then I am entering second number, pressing enter key. So we got the result as 11. Correct? Okay. So the confusion here is what we don't know what to enter when the cursor is blinking. So to avoid that, we will put a message to the user. Okay. How we can put the message to the user? Whatever message we want to show to the user, we have to use the printf statement. If we want the message as it is to be printed, only just give the message inside the double quote. So I am going to give a message to the user that you have to enter two numbers. Enter 2 numbers. I am going to give the message. So now let us run and check. So see, now the cursor is not blinking directly. It is asking the user to enter 2 numbers. Now it is easy for the user to enter the 2 numbers. So you are getting the result. So now we are having a confusion that what is this 11, we don't know. Since we have written the program, we know it is an sum. So now I am going to add that message here. Just whatever message you want to display as it is, give it in the sum. This percentage D, what it will do means it will be replaced by the value stored in the sum here. Okay. So now we will run and check. So I am entering 6, then 5. So now see the result. We are getting sum followed by what? 11. So now the user can easily understood that it is the sum of two numbers. Okay.